communicate to us to the addresses that either through our regional offices or head office, and our address is even in the telephone directory. All this, we thank you very much, dear members.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUF for life. We are IUF.
Good evening and welcome to Today on One. I'm Maggie Forciero. In the news tonight, opposition parties joined forces against reappointment of ACC leadership. Arsenal has fallen to land grabbers. Community members up in arms over Beeker's family eviction. And Roundup, Business on One, Comments Corner, Sports and the weather. Now for the news in detail. Various opposition party leaders joined forces and embarked on a drive-through demonstration against the Anti-Corruption Commission's Director General Paulus Noah and the Deputy Director General Erna van der Merwe's reappointments. Joseph Ilonga has this report.
Tangeni Iyambo, a member of parliament and the president of the Swanu party, read the petition on behalf of the opposition forces requesting for the removal of the ACC's Director General, Paulus Noah, and Deputy Director General, Erna van der Merwe.
Both positions of Director General and Deputy Director General must be advertised for all interested Namibians to apply.
Yes.
This also has the same unfortunate effect on electoral commissioners. The president is not limited in submitting names nominated for the ACC Director General and Deputy Director General, and should therefore afford the National Assembly a pool of names to choose from and not just bulldoze one name, thereby undermining Parliament's appointing authority.
Forward! Transparency forward! Forward! Transparency forward! Forward! Accountability forward! Down corruption! Down! Down Paulus Noah! Down! Down Erna van der Merwe! Down!
Forward justice forward! Forward justice forward! Down corruption! Down! It is time to compel the president and his SWAPO colleagues to respect the Namibian constitution and to also teach them to embrace democracy even when it threatens their political survival. To abuse the parliamentary system for parochial party political interest in this case means that there are darker motives behind the decision to reappoint Mr. Noah and his deputy at all costs by whatever means necessary. No to Paul Noah, no to van der Merwe.
Vipwakuye Muharukwa of the Popular Democratic Movement and Henk Maj of the Republican Party offered their thoughts on the president's decision to reappoint Paulus Noah and Erna van der Merwe for another 5 years.
Money that should be going to the development of the Namibian young people is looted and is siphoned out of state coffers for the benefit of a few elite people. Finally, Namibians are tired and we have finally Namibians are showing our utter dismay at the continued proliferation of corrupt activities in this country. This corruption, or this government, is so used to doing things in a manner that bulldozes processes, that bulldozes the system, that bulldozes democratic institutions to get the wishes of a few individuals. And we as Namibians are tired. That's why you would see those political parties who successfully waged the first war in parliament against corruption are all standing together today to continue that fight. And we will continue that fight not just here today, we will continue that fight in court tomorrow as we are battling it out with government lawyers on the proceedings of parliament.
It is so that the president can decide on who he wants to appoint. But the fact that it must be sent to Parliament for ratification, it means that the Parliament do have an oversight function. So at least give them enough time to discuss it, which was not the case now. That is the one thing that was really worrying. Secondly, what is even more worrying is the fact that we all know that Mr. Noah and his deputy, they didn't perform at all. They were totally incompetent. I cannot believe that so many people in the country know who the corruptors are, but he doesn't know it. That is just not possible. So he's obviously protecting people, and there's not even a question about it. So it doesn't really come as a surprise that the president appointed him again. Although I think the president could have been smarter. He could have rather gotten somebody else that would dance to his tune, not Mr. Noah, because everybody knows Mr. Noah is useless. And I'm saying it with a lot of respect for him as a person. I'm not attacking him as a person, I'm attacking his position. So whether we're going to succeed is another story, but I think Namibian deserves better. Corruption is killing the country. COVID is nothing, not as dangerous as corruption. I mean, we have lost billions of dollars due to corruption, and it just seems as if the government is not keen to tackle that. And it must start with Mr. Noah.
The opposition parties have also filed an urgent court application represented by Elise Hangula and will go to court tomorrow to challenge the Speaker of Parliament for allegedly enabling an illegal parliamentary process that resulted in the reappointment of the ACC directors. Lydia Kandetu, the Secretary of the National Assembly, received the petition.
Are you a CMS member? With HospiCash 100, you can get up to 100,000 Namibian dollars cover with a 30,000 limit per event from as little as 100 Namibian dollars a month. We understand that being in hospital can be stressful. That is why with HospiCash 100, you can cover your non-medical expenses by receiving cash payouts when you are in hospital, so you can recover stress-free. Interested? SMS your name and HospiCash to 555 and we will call you back.
Residents from across Windhoek's informal settlements have taken control of a piece of land close to Ochamusi's Astelaan. The group of angry residents started setting up their shacks as, according to them, they have lost faith in their leaders' false promises. Astelaan's Mashichi Street was a scene of disorder and lawlessness, with land being forcefully taken in broad daylight in front of law enforcement. The Namibian Police Force Major General Joseph Chikango, Nampel Commerce Regional Commander Ishmael Basson, City Police Chief Abraham Kaneme, and City Police Senior Superintendent Jerry Shikesho were all at the scene. This report from Leston Boller.
In Tobias Anyeko, it really created a lot of chaos, because some of the political leaders from the council made a statement and even apologized on behalf of the council that the steps taken by the police were not approved, were not appropriate, and even the statement were made that for the city police to move is only once they got the council resolution. So, and I think that situation is probably misunderstood by the members of the public, and therefore they decided to grab land everywhere.
Namibian Police Force Major General Joseph Chikongo told Today on One that political intervention is needed before the situation gets out of hand.
You will see the whole of this area has been taken. So, but the worst part of it is that some of them, they've started even blocking the roads, burning the tires, and I think this is the Namibian police, together with the city police, something that we will not allow to continue. But in a way, we are trying to talk to them. Like when we came here, we engaged them from the other side, near police station, Chomuisa police station, up to where we are now. And then we have spoken to them, we can see they are dispersing now. We have identified 2 or 3 members, the community members, to talk to them. We gave them facility just to talk to them. And one of the things we said, whatever the problem you have, put them in writing. Put your problem in writing, and then from there, if you wanted to go and hand over the petition, for instance, you can go to the council. And I think this is what the community have decided, that they are going to sit down, put all their problems, and then from there they will notify the police that they want the police to escort them to go and hand over the petition. Which of course we are in agreement, because it does not help us. People are grabbing land, and we end up on the field all the time, and then there's only the law enforcement. There were 2 honorable councillors that were there, but I think we were not able to engage the community at this point in time. They were only monitoring. But I think the whole issue is that I'm happy to say so far there was no issue of confrontation, or it's verbal, but there was no physical confrontation so far. And I think that's exactly the direction we want to move. We want to enforce law and order, but I think the land issue is a political issue. It actually needs some intervention from the highest, from those that are responsible for the management of land. They need to come in, and they need to come to people. Because if you see what people are demanding, they want to see the councillors. But it looks like the councillors are not coming to the people.
The Khomasdal constituency councillor Samuel Angolo, who told residents that those who are seizing land should not come to his office demanding municipal services like water and electricity.
The whole issue of the land grabbing, that one is not in the mandate of the Khomas Regional Council, whereby this constituency office is part and parcel of the Khomas Regional Council. So, honestly speaking, the council, we are not supporting in any form or other way the grabbing of the land, because that activity is an illegal activity. So we condemn it in its totality. So hereby we are urging those community members, whether by hook or crook, whoever instigated them to take the land by force, that is a crime. Those services, the ablution facilities, the electricity and the water, those services is a mandate and provision of the city of Windhoek. Now, the worst thing is, people come to the constituency office after they grabbed already the land, and they never consulted even this office. So they go out on their own way, and then they do their thing there, and when things turn around, then always the first office to be consulted, because maybe it's because of they are in the constituency.
The police are pleading with the city of Windhoek to find a solution before the situation worsens.
Why do we do it? Cover up, tone down, hide, instead of choosing boldness. Celebrate the skin you're in with Nivea Rich Nourishing. Our triple layered care of deep moisture serum, natural almond oil, and vitamin E enriches your skin for 48 hours. It's time to show off your best skin. Choose to wear your skin with pride every time with Nivea Rich Nourishing.
Chaos broke out earlier today in Ignatius Loyola Street in Windhoek Skadatura as community members came out in numbers to dispute the eviction of the Bekes family. The residents say the removal is unfair and are also accusing law enforcement of using violent force in the process. This report from Isai Sipunga.
One of the bystanders took video footage of an officer of the law kicking some of the Bekes' furniture. He feels the action was demeaning.
Je moest het ook uitgedragen zonder enige praterij. Ons heeft gevraagd als mensen, als huisnaars, hoe maak je dat zo? Maar hulle besluit, hulle gaan het goed uitdragen, dat is recht. Dat is hulle zijn recht. Nou, waar is onze recht? Waar de is onze recht?
We won't barge, says Hermine Bekes as she began preparing to pack their belongings back into the house.
I was at work, at my workplace. I just got a phone call that all of us, we have to leave this property because the guy bought the house fairly and through everything. He paid the whole amount to the lady. The men came and they evicted us all out of the house, put the stuff on the street. The police came. I also have few videos how the police were kicking our stuff in the street and shouting and deciding that we must not take pictures to them. The house is just like that. They closed. We broke this one because we are going back inside. We called the councillor and the councillor told us that we must go back inside. Fight for their rights back. They must get inside the house and sleep where they want because it's their house and I want the right. I want the right. I want the whole community to know about it. How can the police just come and take everything and just do whatever they want? That's not a good thing. It's not good. It's not at all good. So I want them, the people must take their things inside, their stuff inside and go back inside.
Ek sal altyd nog vir die enige mens vergewe. Soos die God sê, maar die Here slap nie in die hemel nie. Dit is alright dat hulle hierdie goeders so uitgooi. Ek is baie bly. Ek is tevrede. Hulle fight moes met my. Ek is mos Lady Bekes. En die huis is mos die my ma se eie huis. Waar hulle moet my met my. Maar ek is bly en ek is vrede. As hulle met my mense so werk, 100%, ek sal vir hulle vergewe, maar die God sal werk.
Katatura Central Constituency Councillor Rodman Kashaimo was also present during the eviction process, but left to attend another equally important engagement. He supports the family's decision to remain in the house.
They were evicted today. I told them to go back into that house. Whatever will trap us, we are going to deal with it. We'll fight all the ways. I'm going to have a meeting also with some few other councillors, some also from the city of Windhoek, so that we can put our head together and see how we are going to tackle this issue. We are not going to leave our people to fight this case on their own. We'll be part and parcel of it all the way.
The new homeowner's legal representative, Milton Engelbrecht, told Today in One that there was nothing sketchy about the transaction and that the Bekes family was aware of it. He agreed to meet with us tomorrow for an in-depth update.
This is my favorite gear, because it speaks for me and all my brothers. Nivea Men Black and White Deo. With 5 times Deo action to protect you and your favorite gear from stains. Try Nivea's #1 anti-stain deodorant. Nivea Men, it starts with you.
In other leading stories, during the lockdown, Capricorn Group and its subsidiary company, Entrepot Holdings, through their corporate social responsibility vehicle, the Capricorn Foundation partnered with Step Out of Poverty through education, encouragement and support, charity to improve lives of vulnerable children. The impact of COVID-19 has exacerbated educational challenges across the country. The fact has put even more pressure on preschools in the informal settlements of Okriangava, Havana, Hakahana, Ochemise, Greenwell, Matongo and Katatura as a whole, where the SPES charity operates. The charity has been involved in the communities for over 14 years and supports 25 informal preschools with nearly 1,700 children and 80 teachers. The Capricorn Foundation has contributed 240,000 Namibia dollars towards the SPES Charity Relief Fund, strengthening the charity's capacity and supporting the most vulnerable community as they cope with the negative impact of the pandemic. The funds provided through Capricorn Foundation helped with extensive assistance with the physical and educational needs of the children and their families when the schools initially closed. The allocation was made through food parcels and supplies and home activity booklets for the children to complete. As schools are slowly reopening, the need is more significant than ever to integrate and ensure that children learn and catch up. The preschools will continue to be a haven for the children, providing the educational, emotional, physical and social needs. This is despite the growing number of learners not paying school fees dramatically increasing since 2019 due to parents losing their jobs. The charity organization SPES also supports the teachers with training and a small remuneration to assist for months when they receive no salary due to the closure of schools.
Joseph Shufeni is standing by for today's edition of Business on One and Economic Indicators.
Welcome to Business on One. I'm your host, Joseph Shufeni. The founder of the Canadian energy firm Reconnaissance and his team are in Namibia and paid the head of state a courtesy call where they confirmed that they have discovered light oil and gas after drilling 2 wells in the Kavango East region. The president welcomed the founder to Namibia and thanked him for investing in the country. As for those against the operations of the firm, Kenkop said it is their right to express themselves since this is a democratic country. During a courtesy call by the founder of Recon Africa, Greg Steinke at State House this morning, he said that they will soon be conducting seismic operations to discover whether the oil discovered is commercial.
Now that we've established that the basin holds oil and gas, the next goal is, as discussed, we're shooting seismic to delineate reservoirs if they're there. But that's a key component of the operation to establish commercialities. But one of the things we're really proud of is, in keeping with our commitment to the Namibian government, we are utilizing, for seismic, we're utilizing, it's the lightest impact seismic equipment offered in the world. It's nothing more than a Mercedes-Benz tractor retrofitted with a thumper on the back that drives sound waves into the ground, and the equipment is going down existing gravel roads. So it's just like a tractor going down a gravel road. So it's very benign, and again, it's the lightest impact seismic equipment in the world, and it was derived from Western Canada.
Kenkop said that he has faith in the company since it is Canadian, adding that Namibians have a problem of chasing away investors that have the potential of bringing jobs. The Mines and Energy Minister said denying those in Kavango East the investment opportunity would be unfair.
I think as a country we should all be desperate for investment. We should all be desperate for investment. We know the economy hasn't been growing. We know in the meantime for the last couple of years there have been a number of independent intervening variables in our economy, and therefore if you really get good investment, and this could be one of the good investment, certainly yes, I would say yes, we are desperate for that investment. But that is not at the expense of the environment. It's not. And that's what we keep emphasizing to say we do have Environmental Management Act. For every step the company needs to do, from the drilling that they are doing now, each step they have to get a permit. And that permit will only be given to them provided they show that they have taken good care of the environment. And therefore for me, for the people who says, well, because they're protecting the environment, just stop it. I don't think it's being fair. But rather, let's insist to make sure that the company does what they do within what the Environment Act demands. Yes, the story to say that the traditional authorities were not consulted. But this does not come from the traditional authorities. It comes from other people. I haven't heard any traditional authority who says we were not consulted. It's always other people who says that. But consultation is important. It is not an event that happens once only and it stops. I think every step of the way as we go on, that consultation is important.
Recon Africa already employs over 300 residents from the region and could bring in hundreds of millions of Namibian dollars a year to the government in revenue. The founder said it will take from 6 months to a year to discover whether the oil is commercial. That is all we have for you. Join us again next time and don't forget to follow us on our social media pages.
Man, if God be anything, He should be everything. Strength provider, the architect of every ring. Experience Daniel, see the face of God and live.
I pray to God for my enemy. Why you ready? Why you baby? Wanna baby? Insta baby, Insta baby, Insta baby. Why you lying? Shake what your mama gave ya. Everybody move what your mama gave ya. Everybody shake what your mama gave ya. Everybody move, yeah, lost, fuck.
You are now watching the V10 Countdown.
Time now for Comments Corner, your daily dose of comments from our social media pages. After months of unpaid labour, construction workers building houses in Ochumise's Sevendelan area finally received a notification from the subcontractor stating that the long-awaited payment will be made by the end of this month. Zelna says they should not be given another tender again. Olive says he would not have accepted the offer. Victor says their non-compliance is a serious punishable offence. Alfie says the construction industry is bleeding. Stefano Unions welcome the good spirit of the workers for understanding. Eddie says it's very sad, adding that the simple solution is to pay the delayed payments. Willem says the end of the month is too far. While Twakulilwa noted that this is not the first time it has happened. That is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast every day only on Today on One.
Catch Namibia's rising talents displaying the best goals, breathtaking saves, like a 1-2 combination on the pitch, as well as the biggest misses. It's the MTC Hop Soul Youth League Soccer Show, showcasing Africa's next soccer superstars. Only on One Africa Television, every Wednesdays at 18:30. Aye, is Super Disc on another level.
Time now for today's sports update with Taro Musiandaga.
Welcome to Sports on One. I'm Charo Musiandaka. As the 2021 World Athletics Under-20 Championships draw closer, Athletics Namibia recently finalized its junior team that will represent the country in Kenya from the 17th up to the 20th of August 2021. Today on One Sports visited the team's relay training session to find out about its preparations towards the Games. Kashro Lumbu has more on this story.
Currently in charge of the team's preparation is Godfried Tovaseb, who says that the team is currently in good shape despite the COVID-19 pandemic and is positive from the team going into the Games.
So far the training went well. We are just we started the selection process has been done last month, and then we got the team together. Marcelingi and Christina were in Japan. They will join up with the team by next week. But those who are here, we are working with them. We have got 4 relay members, and for the 5th one is the reserve. As you can see here, we are fine-tuning their exchanges and really the basics of the relay. My hope is that everything will fall into place, and then we can medal. I'm quite sure that these girls will make the final, and I'm also quite sure that we are going to medal. COVID has been a real challenge. Myself was also affected by COVID. I was down for 2 weeks, and as it went with the restrictions, sometimes we have to separate the groups and train in tens. Now that it is 50, then it's a bit safer to have more. COVID has affected us really training-wise, but the best that we could do out of the situation we have done. There's always been a challenge finding time. Even the training facilities, some of them were locked down. We did not use the gym, for instance. But with what we could, the time that we could train, we've done the best that we could.
Having the 2 Namibian teenage sprinting sensations, Christine Boma and Beatrice Marcelingi on the team will pose an advantage for Team Namibia, says Miriam Menen, the team's manager, after they have shown exceptional performances at the recently ended Tokyo Olympic Games in Japan.
We are actually very happy and blessed to actually get this opportunity to represent the country. For some of the athletes, it will be their first time traveling outside Namibia, so they will actually be happy and very excited to be outside the country. It's just to at least make it out of the first round, so we'll take it step by step, make it out of the first round, and then from there we'll work our way out and see at least for us to make it to the finals and and bring back a medal, hopefully. It is actually quite very exciting for the teammates and also for team managers. So for them going, we'll at least expect medals from them as well, since they have done so well at the Olympics. So everyone will expect them to do good. But training has been going well. There's progress. So we see that girls are actually working together as a one unit. So hopefully going into the competition, they will do the same as what they are doing right now.
Ndawana Haitembu and Karin Oosthuizen, who are selected to be part of the women's 4x100 meter relay team, are excited as they describe this as a very big opportunity for them to represent the country on a bigger stage.
This is quite a big opportunity for me. Reason being that it's going to be my first national colors, so I'm looking forward to putting up a good performance for Namibia. I'm looking forward to doing well. If we take gold, any position, it's okay.
Ek dink hierdie is 'n groot voorreg dat ons vir Namibia kan ondersteun in hierdie groot bijeenkoms. En ja, ek dink dit was net 'n kort tydjie wat ons hierdie kennis gekry het, en ek dink wel met meer tyd so is heel reg wees, maar ja, ek is positief.
The team selected to represent the country consists of Christine Boma, Beatrice Masilingi, Elvis Gassab, Ndawana Haitembu, Karin Oosthuizen, and Nandi Faz. They will be joined by team leader Miriam Minen, coach Hank Botha, and Norman Lucas as the COVID-19 liaison officer.
Well, that's all the time we have for you today. Join us again tomorrow for more Sports on One, and don't forget to follow us on our social media pages. Back to you, Maggie.
Thank you, Charo, for the latest in sports. Time now for the weather forecast. The Namibia interior partly cloudy and mild to warm in the south, elsewhere partly cloudy and warm to hot. The coast partly cloudy and mild with fog patches in places, and the wind light to moderate southwesterly to southeasterly. Now we look at minimum and maximum temperatures across the country and beyond. We've come to the end of today's edition of Today on One. Catch a repeat at 9:30 this evening, 6 a.m. tomorrow, and the Omnibus Saturdays from 9 to 2. Don't forget to follow us on our social media pages. From me, Maggie Forciero, and the rest of the team, it's good night.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
On the Gold Coast of West Africa lies the peaceful and diverse nation of Ghana. I'm pretty close right now to the geographical center of the Earth. It is also one of the last pockets for elephants in the wilds of West Africa.
Every country in the world just about has cattle, sheep, goats, horses, donkeys.
But it's only Africa that has the real megafauna, the charismatic stuff which people in the rest of the world want to see. The passion that the staff have for the job.
There's value to a bird which brings birders to a place like this. I mean, this is a birding paradise. We see an intrinsic appreciation and joy from seeing the wildlife out here, but not everybody does.
You can't get to Moli and then will not be passionate about what we do, because you'll be the only one left. Everybody is passionate.
The only worthwhile war, the war against destruction, the war against loss, the war for peace, for balance, for inclusion.
It's out of my way. Buffaloes, elephants, tigers, atabi are still in existence.
If Mole fails, then Ghana is without wildlife.
Join me as we journey to the untamed wilderness of northern Ghana to meet these last defenders.
The people within the law enforcement agencies don't really know you're talking about a roan antelope. Somebody thinks it's just like a goat.
What's up, world? This is Shay, the goddess of the airwaves, on 99 FM, Monday to Friday, serving you breakfast on the ignition between 6 and 9. We taught you to be inspired, taking you to master your destiny. Now it's time to do the work.
Just show up.
Put on your work boots and do the time.
Make it, and then make it better.
Hello, world. It's your boy Script here on The Kingdom, where we're reminding you every single day.
Get up. You've got this. Start where you are.
Hey, this is your girl Treza on Hitsville on 99 FM, letting you know it's okay.
Try.
Make mistakes.
Awesome.
I am Sibo, and I'm going to be with you for quite a while. Thank you so much for joining us here on your inspiration station, where we let you know
there's no easy money, there's no easy job, there's no easy life.
99 FM. Do the work.
Scientists are racing to find a COVID-19 vaccine. Creating a vaccine usually takes years, sometimes even decades. More than 150 vaccine candidates are being developed worldwide. Some of the trials furthest ahead have produced encouraging results. Several possible vaccines appear to have produced an immune response with antibodies, T cells, and no serious side effects. Antibodies are protective proteins that fight infections in the body. Some T cells kill infected cells. Others help B cells to make the right antibodies to fight a virus. It's uncertain how long immunity to COVID-19 would last. 6 other human coronaviruses have been known about for years. Natural immunity for the most common 4 is quite short-lived and generally lasts a few years. A COVID-19 vaccine could require booster jabs after years or even months. Scientists are using a variety of methods to make a vaccine. Several human trials are creating vaccines using the genetic code of the virus. Other human trials, and some with animals, are trying more traditional methods, such as using a weakened or inactive virus. This variety might lead to more than one type of vaccine. Having several could actually be very useful, as each one may be more effective among different people. Despite the promising progress, it's not guaranteed an effective and reliable vaccine will be found. If there isn't one, the virus might eventually infect everyone. Some scientists are hoping to have a vaccine ready for limited use before the end of this year, but most are predicting mid-2021. Once regulators have approved a vaccine, billions of doses will have to be made. Then there's the tricky task of distributing and administering it on a global scale. Collaboration will be needed so the poorest don't miss out. Health workers could be at the front of the queue to get it. But who should be next in line?
I like rhinos. I like them very much. Future here in this area is depending on the tourism. The future generation, they can see and they can benefit from their own resources. Animals like rhinos, elephants, the big five, to benefit from them, and it must be respected. You are not feeding the rhinos, you are not giving them order, so it's a free business.
I don't know, cut it off.
I take two of my sons, which was little bit 5 years old. They were young guys. So they asked me questions. Why are we here? Why are we sleeping here? I told them this is our resources and this is our future. My first memory of going with my dad is that I learned new things. As I grow up as a man, I see an opportunity in it. So I decided to look for a job pertaining tourism. So that's when I was employed at Palamba. So I decided to go for tour guide studies. Because I grew up with the tourism industry, the wildlife, the rhinos and everything, to bring that experience to the tourists. You can see the hyena. The biggest changes, I was employed, getting paid, and also I can now support my family.
It's a cultural thing. It's coming a long way. Even if you go to area like Treverfontein, area was a lot of paintings. You will see rhino engravings on the rocks. That is an indication that the interaction between human, especially the local communities and wildlife, is dating back. That intimacy relationship is coming for a long time.
We are right here now at Palamba, and Palamba is one of the big lodges in the heart of the desert. And as you can see there is Jumbo standing behind me, which shows it's really a tourist area. We do have elephants, lions, but as you can see, the desert is the heart of the rhinos. This is the main breeding area of the rhinos, is what we found here in this desert.
It's the largest free-roaming population of black rhinos that you find outside national parks in the world. It's a population that communities in the northwest have taken responsibility themselves in managing this population with the structures that government has put in place, more specifically the establishment of conservancies.
These people, before independence, they took it upon themselves and decided that wildlife is our heritage, and through history we've been living with wildlife. And having wildlife in your area is like having a garden.
Because of all these animals, we've got the communities that benefit from all this wildlife, and it's like a triangle that fits into each other. And the communities looked after the wildlife doing their own thing, and the communities benefit.
So already there were this intergenerational relationship between mankind and wildlife, and that bond is what our people actually wanted to see it continuing.
Very few countries have the wildlife that Namibia has. What is also important is the policies that Namibia has put in place, which also involves communities to be engaged in the management of the wildlife species and also to benefit from the wildlife resources.
Turn conservation into a rural economy, turn conservation into endless opportunities that would actually cater for those young people that have nothing else to do.
If it was not for rhino economy and tourism in this area, it was really difficult for young people to get or find a job.
We are conservation engineers. We make conservation work in an unfenced area, and through that, we want to turn the wildlife into the rural economy that will benefit the rural communities.
So we can see now wildlife is doing very well, the lodges are doing well, and the community is also benefiting. So it takes all three together.
Devastating hit over coronavirus fears. Airline industry is facing its biggest threat to travel since 9/11.
Since March, when COVID-19 hit Namibia, things actually become very difficult. In the first place, all the lodges closed down because of COVID-19. With us, Save the Rhino Trust, we had some donors cutting on their funding. And then we had, in the same time, a poaching case of 2 rhinos that was poached. We had less boots on the ground, and poachers could actually see. Now it's our chance to go in and do something. So COVID-19 was tough on all of us. Ginger Morning, who is one of our trustees, actually came up with the idea of, why don't we ask you to go to buy some gold for us and make gold bars? And then we sell them for the rhino conservation.
I was fortunate enough to have a chance to have lunch with Clive Johnson, the CEO of B2 Gold in Vancouver, Canada. And I looked at Clive and I said, we've got rhinos, you've got gold, let's do something. Let's create a coin or a medallion or a bar using your resource to create a sustainable source of funding for rhino conservation for the future.
There was it. The gold was bought, the bar was made, and I think it was January, 31st of January that we launched the bars in Windhoek. And suddenly one morning I had an email from my office, from my finance person saying, these people don't have salaries. So I said, oh, what now? So I picked up my phone and I phoned Mark Law. I said, Mark, I've got this problem. He said, but we've got the fund already ready for you. You just have to apply, put a proposal in.
1,000 ounces of gold can make an enormous difference to the livelihoods of the communities that live up there. We are, in essence, providing income and providing a livelihood to the communities. In the absence of tourism, especially now with COVID-19, even prior to that, when we had such a bad drought, the communities became even more dependent on the natural economy.
The idea is to make this a fund that will last for the next 25, 30 years, or even longer. And a portion of that will be distributed immediately as needed. And in this case, the COVID-19 crisis necessitated us to distribute funds to pay salaries to help people in the field.
The proceeds of the sales from the gold bars will be going towards responsible NGOs. And we've identified Save the Rhino Trust as the key NGO. And IRDNC, one of the first organizations that was in the Northwest, integrated rural development and nature conservation, so that ultimately the funds go to the communities and various aspects of their war on poaching.
To be able to support those hardworking men and women that are always in the front line between the poachers and the rhinos.
If it was not for B2 Gold and the golden bars, I think by now we should have been in big trouble.
By extracting the gold, you reinvest it in other renewable resources.
The gold that's coming out from the ground is actually protecting the wildlife that's working on the ground, which is a very good symbol for the others.
I wish this was my bar. This is the 500 gram gold bar. So you'll see on this side you've got the Etindeka Mountains and you've got the mother rhino with her calf. And then on the reverse side we've got the serial number. You've got the Rand Refinery stamp, which is very important. Anywhere in the world, people will recognize the stamp and they will know that this bar contains 99.99% gold.
It is gorgeous.
We wanted to make a biggest contribution. And at Ballowwood, we see that as a way of giving back to the community.
Okay, so there you'll see the 500 gram bar.
Very special.
Feel the weight. It's incredible.
This opportunity which presented itself is absolutely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
We're privileged to have this.
This is just absolutely gorgeous, and I think this showcase really what the project is all about.
It's from 24 karat Namibian gold.
I'm looking at these rhinos is put there like Miss World photogenic, I would say.
There are only 1,000 of these gold bars, rhino gold bars, in circulation.
As far as I'm aware, it's the largest single donation of any corporate to the conservation of biodiversity anywhere in Africa.
Therefore, we so much appreciate and would want to continue as a government to work with B2 Gold.
And the fact that it's happening here in Namibia is something that we can all be extremely proud about and very grateful to B2 Gold.
Thanks to having this literal pot of gold through the funding for the Rhino Gold Bar, we're able to step in now and make sure that those trackers are supported, and so are their families and their communities.
We make sure that people sustain their jobs going forward, and who doesn't want gold?
And the B2 Gold Rhino Gold Bar has come in at a really critical time now, particularly with tourism being closed off and those forms of revenue not coming in.
To say we have the biggest rhino population or black rhino population in the world, let it be for the rest of our lives. And it's that heritage that we have, it's our resource that we can all look after and protect.
It's our heritage. And it's also good that other people like B2 Gold are also seeing it that way.
It's actually a very nice link between the investor that buys this gold bar, the rhino tracker in the northwest of Namibia, and the black rhinos. It's an intergenerational thing. The rhino trackers teach their children how to track rhinos, their children get taught, and so it flows down.
This is something that I want my children to have, and that we leave a little bit of a B2 Gold legacy. And if I can be part of that as part of my family, I'd be very proud.
It can also become an inheritance for the generations of my own clan. My children, my grandchildren.
If we can bring that passion over to future generations and to hand that over to my children, and I hope that that same passion for conservation gets migrated over to my kids.
And what we've done together is create a sustainable source of funding that should outlive all of us.
You know, I think as far as B2 Gold is concerned, we couldn't have chosen a better target in which to put our efforts as far as the environmental and conservation pillar is concerned. And I want to stress there that the money that's going towards environment and conservation is actually going towards the people.
Rhino is for all of us, whether you are in Canada, whether you are in Vancouver, whether you are in the US. If you really want to see conservation at play with rural communities, I therefore humbly request each and everyone to join us on our Rhino tour and have a wonderful experience. This is what keeps rhinos on this planet.
I've done rhino trekking experience. It was just amazing walking in that landscape of the Kunene. And as we followed them, we could now find rhinos with the calf. We got the closest distance we could.
It's a warning sign.
And it was just amazing and lovely, something to experience that Namibia can offer. It's something that you have to do in your life.
Just believe in me.